Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and non-binary creatures, as you see fit to call yourself. Good afternoon to you too. This is Oliver, and I am here in the Mount Scott, Arleta neighborhood. I don't know if you can see right behind me, but right behind me is Foster Boulevard. We've had a number of shootings here, just a couple of blocks either way on Foster this last week or two. We had a very ugly, deadly shooting on Foster up out of the neighborhood, but on Foster, and where a 1-year-old and I think a 3-year-old were shot in the legs. The mother was shot, I believe she was killed, and the father who was in the car is in the hospital as well. It's just absolutely tragic. There's video on that one where it looks like a white SUV pulls up, targets, bam, 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 slow to almost kind of look and assess who they hit, if they killed them, and then slowly drove out of the video. Unknown shooter at this point. Like the thousands of shots fired unknown in Portland this last year. Hundreds just this last couple of months. So the People's Republic of Portland, Oregon, we're under attack. We're under attack on multiple levels. Our own community is fighting its own community. And so, today, February 2/22, 2022, 22 to 222, it's right about 2 o'clock, I believe. So at 2:22 p.m. this afternoon, 222, 22 to 222, 222 to 22. No, there's a lot of twos going on here today. But I'll tell you, my heart's heavy on all these youngsters, people getting shot, period. But when 1-year-olds are getting shot in the leg, and it was targeted to kill mom or kill dad, we're really fucked up in Portland. We're way more fucked up in Portland than we realized, if that's the case. We're already fucked up. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to say we weren't fucked up here in Portland. We've been fucked up in Portland for years now with violence. And one of the major problems in this town is we have groups that are acting like organized crime, such as Antifa, Rose City Antifa. Those are the only ones with a website, but there's other little cells or groups or people. And then they teamed up with BLM, Black Lives Matter. We have these different clusters of group that have been, for years in Portland, marching around with guns and running protests and parades unpermitted, unauthorized, often unannounced. But this last one where there was a mass shooting at the Rose City Park, it is cold out here, man. It feels like it's in the 20s, but it's beautiful sunshine, but it's in the 30s. This last shooting that I am leaning towards it being self-defense of the individual who shot several members of this group. Now, I don't know all of the facts. My condolences to the apparently one woman has deceased. I haven't heard of any of the names. So I don't know if these were just random people or if these people that I've marched with or have photographed, videoed, or I have no idea. They're more than likely, they're probably young, vulnerable, and have been abducted into this groupthink, kind of like a cult here in Portland. And they more than likely weren't the ones with the rifles or the guns. They're the young people often are pulled right off the streets and sucked into these so-called Antifa political networks, and then they get them marching around where some people have guns and march with them. Now, if you're a driver and you don't know what's going on, you will be punched and dragged out of your vehicle. Yes, I've seen it. It's on video for the last couple of years here in Portland. You'll be punched and dragged out of your vehicle, threatened with guns, because you're perceived as a threat that you're there to run them over. Like it's some sort of Mustang in Charlottesville, where we saw that staged little false flags psychological operation that ran or attempted to run over a crowd of protesters. So ever since that happened, for years, every single car that doesn't know what's going on or doesn't submit to the commands of these, they look like ninjas, they look like they're in black pajamas, masked, they frighten the community. People don't like them. They don't want them closing their streets off, but they close the streets off and they march down with their flags, with their cause, and often reap havoc on the community. I have videos of people in cars that were almost ran into a crowd, almost ran over some paraders because they were so frustrated, screaming at people that had their hands. Luis Marquez had his hands on the van. So this was a person of color, African American person, that was threatening to drive through the crowd because they didn't like the masked ninja warriors. I'm not even sure there was visible guns at that parade. This was a couple years ago. This was a Don't Shoot Portland parade, where Antifa works security, where Antifa works because they don't like the police. They don't want the police there. They don't want the police's help. They hate the police. They're a part of their hatred and loathing is they want the police to die. There's tags that say, kill the popo, kill the police, kill Whitey, kill white babies. These are all tags sprayed on buildings all over Portland here over the last couple of years. It's unacceptable. This is hatred. For years, this has been percolating. And so what happens, now I'm going to go into a little bit of the psychology of this. My take on it, my social lens or perspective of the psychology of what's happening. When you continue to do something that the community loathes, the community begins to loathe you, the actor. Not only do they loathe the script and the narrative, but they begin to loathe you. The hatred. It's unhealthy on any side of that parade. Whether you're in the parade, they're loathing the community. Everyone's white supremacist. The police, they hate the police. Everyone is a fucking Nazi. And that gives them clearance morally to conduct military type operations with guns and weapons and do anything they want. Punch a cop, punch a Nazi. That's been the mantra for years. Just because orange man bad, orange man bad. The social engineering and the false psychological operations have been one after the other after the other. It's intentional to divide and conquer us as a community. Now I'll talk about briefly the shooting here. And I don't know exactly what happened. I know that there's been a lot of different words that have been tossed out. I also watched the press release that Mayor Wheeler did and Chief Lavelle and FBI and all these other national actors that are now going to be boosted and put in front stage to come take control of Portland. That's what these defund the police, abolish the police, kill the police. That's what these guys have done. That's what they've been, I've been warning them that this is what their environment they're creating for Portland for years now. You can't continue to do that and not attract national attention and have us being treated like everyone is a domestic terrorist and we all need to be under surveillance and or whatever, taken out, really. So I heard that there was the word homeowner that came up in the presser today. Ted Wheeler was fielding questions from the obvious biased media, quote unquote. One of the media guys, in fact, it was so biased, one of the media guy, John Anker, is actually a Rose City Antifa advocate, or he's at all the events. I've got him on all the videos. This guy John is the one that attacked Andy No in Portland and tackled him. I believe he has a pending case. We have an Antifa operative that has molded into with press credentials today and was grilling Mayor Wheeler about what intel did he get and where did he hear that. Where did he hear there was shell casings picked up? Was that just speculation, or do you have somebody that told you that? Is there a witness that's proved that? Is somebody rolling over on us? That's what John Anker is. His line of questioning. He didn't ask those verbatim, but that was his line of questioning is, well, how do you know? It's who's rolled over, who's squealed, who's ratted? Wow, there were shell casings picked up? Well, how did you know that? We didn't think anybody knew that. Oh, this is John. This is the state of Portland, where we have Antifa with press credentials in a press hearing in downtown Portland, grilling the FBI, the Portland Police Chief, and Mayor Wheeler. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. I know John. I've stood with John years ago. His daughter played with my daughter down at Occupy ICE. Unbelievable of what I'm seeing. So right now, number one solution, all unscheduled, unpermitted marches are illegal and need to stop. Stop. That's what you guys were all doing. You were getting ready to do another one of the unpermitted, unmarched, armed guards marching the crowd down through without the police knowing, without the community knowing. Nobody has, you printed some flyers. Okay, great. You always do different routes because you don't want to be ambushed by the police. You always want to do different routes so you don't let anybody know where you're going. I know how you guys roll. I've been watching you for 5 years. Right here in Portland. I've been right there. Taking pictures. Yeah, taking pictures. And neutral. I've been very neutral. So, until now. And this crap needs to stop. You know, again, I understand there's what shots fired. Anything anyone does at this point is in self-defense against these armed groups. Period. It's all self-defense. Our small businesses need self-defense. The homeowners need self-defense. They take issue with him being called a homeowner. So he's not a homeowner. He wasn't standing his ground. There's a whole lot of self-defense protections with somebody that was at home or near their home on their property. Is a totally different category of crimes. Antifa activists and operatives know that. They know that. And that's why they're taking issue with the word of calling this guy, who, by the way, was shot. So I don't know who shot first. Again, I would immediately, without seeing the evidence, say it was self-defense. I don't know for sure. So let me be clear. I don't know for sure. But I speculate it was self-defense just because of my interaction with these people and these groups. I was, just weeks ago, was threatened by some of these. John Anker was there at the Oregon Health Authority. There was a group there called Free Oregon, and they were demanding that the mask mandate gets lifted and that our children can go into our classrooms without masks suffocating on them. It's called Free Oregon. I stand with them. I support them. These actors, the wind is getting ready to blow you around on over. I got my hand on the tripod. These guys were down there harassing these peaceful. There's children there. They had a barbecue. They're eating hot dogs. Very peaceful group. Very peaceful group of 50 people. Antifa is over there antagonizing them. Driving around with the cars and bullhorn, pointing things out of cars. It looked like a gun at one point. Apparently it was a bullhorn. Somebody's got a bullhorn pointing out. And they're pointing the bullhorn, which looks like audio weapon. Could be a gun pointing out of a car. As they're casing and harassing and stalking these peaceful protesters. That was Antifa. You know, Dusty. The saddlebags, you know, the little horse-tooth guy, Dusty Wheels, little saddlebag, he's in wheels. He was there. And I heard him at the press release. They interrupted the press release and stopped the press release as the Popo was trying to talk about what had happened this weekend with the numerous shootings. Children were shot. Antifa was shot. Another guy had a mental health crisis up here in Southwest Hills. The police shot him because he had a gun or a knife and was threatening, I think, the police or some other people. This all happened one weekend. Just this last weekend, 72 hours ago. This is where we've been at. We've been this way for years, to be honest, but this was an especially intense weekend. The national press is all hyped up because they think it's political. They want to make it political. They want to know what the politics of this and what happened in Portland, because it's got to be some sort of political assassination on one way or another. And it may have just been as simple as self-defense. But Antifa is hard spinning the information. Who picked up the gun shells at the park? Who picked them up? Because they're gone. Chief Lavelle asked whoever took them, please return them. That's tampering with evidence. Why would you tamper with evidence in a park if you're innocent? And you're just a victim, right? Because they're all playing the victim now. Oh God, nobody cares about us. We've been out here fighting Nazis for 2 years. Oh God, nobody cares about us. Shut the fuck up. You've been instigating all of this for years in Portland. And like I said, I'm not the only one that's tired of this shit for years. There's hundreds of thousands of people in this Portland community. Hundreds of thousands of people are tired of this shit. They're tired of the violence. They're tired of the political striving. They're tired of their streets being shut down by a bunch of wackos that look like ninja pajamas on LSD. We're tired of this shit. I understand. You're protesting the guy that got wrapped up in a no-knock, executed in a no-knock warrant. I don't support no-knock warrants either. We have common ground there. That happened on the East Coast. Do we have no-knock warrant raids happening here in Portland or Oregon? Do we? I don't think we do. Maybe we do. If we do, we need to talk about that stuff. And yeah, you can bring that to light. But marching down through people's communities and closing down their streets with weapons, making them feel like they're being menaced and they have to defend themselves, that's not the way to do it. So we need a moratorium. Stop on all unpermitted protesting down the streets, closing off roads. All of it. It's for your safety. It's for our safety. It's for the community's safety. It's for the people who are in their homes where stray bullets are shooting into their homes. No more rallying around and marching down through people's community. Now, if you want to stay in a park, get yourself a permit. If you don't want a permit, stay in that park, and you're going to need to have some popo security. You're going to need to have that police security that you're protesting against. So you want to kill the police, abolish the police, defund the police, but now you're in a press conference, screaming that the police aren't there catering to your narcissistic needs. And that's what it is. It's sociopathic, bordering on sociopathic in my book, but it's full-blown narcissism. You don't care about the entire community. The people of color in this community don't want you doing that. You don't speak for them. You think a bunch of 20-year-old white kids in black ninja pajamas speaks for the community of color in Portland? What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? No, you don't speak for them. Not everyone. And so your hatred has come back on you. The karmic bullets have come back on you and your team. And I'm sorry that it's taken out young girls. I'm sorry that it's taken out innocent bystanders. None of that should have happened. All condolences to you. But I also understand where people feel threatened, and we're done feeling menaced, we're done feeling threatened, and they're now going to protect their property, their family, and their livelihood. So stop. Full stop. I've been saying it for a couple of years now, but now it's very clear, isn't it? Full fucking stop. We're at the brink of a civil war. You now have shot soldiers on your side, and they're shot soldiers. That's a bad expression to call everybody that, but figuratively speaking, we have dead soldiers on all sides. We have black community killing black community, and nobody's marching and saying their names. No. What did you guys want to do? Who are you fighting for? Somebody 3,000 miles away that got wrapped up in a no-knock warrant and happened to pull out a gun as he's being raided. Bad idea. I understand he's sleeping, he had his head under the covers. I understand that he could have the gun. I understand you all got rights to have guns. You need to be responsible with where you have those guns. If you need guns for your political march and political statements, rethink why you're doing that political march and political statement. Doesn't that make sense? If you need an entourage of guns, maybe rethink why you're gathering in the park to begin with. Full stop. Full stop. Okay? And I think Mayor Wheeler is doing a pretty good job at handling what I saw today with the press release with Antifa moles posing as journalists with John Anker, who was attacked. Andy No, who is a real journalist. And you got Dusty Wills Saddlebags, whatever his name is, in the chair. You got him screaming, "Gypsy jokers are trying to kill us." This was when they interrupted the press release. You better watch your mouth, dude. You better watch your fucking mouth, man. You don't just start shouting off brotherhoods of the motorcycles names unless you know what the fuck you're talking about. I don't know what you were saying and why you were saying it, but there's nobody with that club that's going to appreciate you saying their name at a press release. It has anything to do with your shooting. Now, I don't know. I don't know why the fuck you would say that. Gypsy jokers are trying to kill us. What the fuck are you talking about, Saddlebags? Really? So now you guys have biker gangs that are trying to kill you? So you have everybody wants to kill you, and it's a really good idea to keep forming these little meetings in the parks and marching down the streets, huh? But everybody wants to kill you? So, you know, it doesn't make any sense to me. It shouldn't make any sense to you. If it doesn't, then stop. Full stop. No more marching down the roads. Stop. There was a couple of other things. It's amazing how the press, like Zelensky down there at the Mercury, how they want to spin this as a hate crime. I think it was, I'm forgetting her name. It wasn't Alex Zelensky that asked the question. But she's posted some shit on Twitter it's obviously she's fucking biased. She's been working defense for these domestic terrorists for a long time, for years here in Portland. Anything they do, it's all just neo-Nazis, it's the fault. And, oh, God! She'll type her little stories and type her little tweets. It's, oh my God, they're coming for, these guys are victims. The pajama, the Nazi Antifa in pajamas are the victims. Now they're carrying guns. They're still the victims. Get a fucking break. Mercury, what a piece of garbage you guys turned into. And Alex really took the Mercury down in the shitter. But I believe it was Channel 6 that was actually trying to pigeonhole Wheeler in a statement that he made last year in April, saying, let's go after the people that are doing this to us and make them hurt. Like, get them. Put them in jail, make them hurt. Like the DA. And then that's the other thing. You got the district attorney, Michael Schmidt, just going, well, gee, oh, I don't know what happened. Oh, gee, how did this happen? Oh, gee, how did this happen? For 2 years, the DA has let these homicidal, sociopathic arsonists and rioters in Portland do whatever they want with no charges. None. Zero. What kind of messaging do you think that sends? That no matter what you do, you want to throw human feces at police? You want to throw urine bottles and urine bags at police? Which you did all summer long in 2020. You want to do that? That's okay. That's okay. Go throw shit and piss at the police. There won't be any charges. Oh, you want to set fires and you want to burn police inside their own police stations? That's okay. There won't be any charges. That's political. That's what District Attorney Mike has done. And you're a total douche. You got to resign. We need to replace you. You're done. You don't get to come on the press release and go, oh, gee, I don't know what happened. It might have been the corona. Yeah, it might have been the lockdowns might be causing this. I don't know. Well, I'll tell you. It's the same damn thing. They keep mentioning all the crime across the nation. What do you think happens when you release violent offenders into the community? What do you think happens when you open up the prison and release violent offenders into the communities all over the nation? Right? Without any other support, without any mental health evaluation or help, without anything of any kind. You just release them because of Corona. That's what you said. You're going to release them into the community because it's the Corona. It's the humanitarian thing to do. Well, lordy, 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 look at us now. Where did all this crime come from? I'm telling you right fucking now where the crime came from, District Attorney. And you know damn well. Damn well. You can't act like an idiot when you are the cause of the problem. When your policies are the cause of the problem. There's no, what happened here? Oh boy, armed Antifa had a gun battle? Well, what happened here? Oh boy. Been watching this for years play out right here in Portland. People almost being executed on live streams, being pulled out of their cars because they happen to come across an armed compadre of protesters walking down the street in Northeast Portland. I've posted so much stuff. This has all been hidden in plain sight for years. Where was the leadership to intervene with it? There was no political backbone from Portland Democrats. There was, in fact, they had their staffers down there trying to blow up the federal courthouse at Mark Hatfield building for 3 months. We caught Democrat staffers from the state legislature down there, arrested, caught up in the drift net, trying to blow up the federal courthouse. Well, lordy, 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 what do we have here? We have Commissioner Hardesty standing on the steps of the federal courthouse, calling it a civil rights revolution, encouraging 3 months of trying to blow up officers and blow up the federal courthouse. What kind of message do you think that sends, Commissioner? What kind of messages do you think you're sending there? So look at the psychological ramifications of that. Look what you've done. The blood is on your hands. It was never okay to behave like that. And Democrats were all silent because it was a coup to get rid of the Orange Menace. It was a coup because Orange Man bad. We're going to let these deviant, homicidal, sociopathic arsonists and rioters unleashed and pay their bills across America because Orange Man bad. Orange Man bad. Well, now you got rid of the Orange Man. Now you've installed a pedophile who shits his pants. He doesn't know where he is. Now that you've installed this guy that's ready to take us to World War IV. That's right, 4. 3's already in the works, already in play. Now that you've done that, you can't stop the runaway train that you created and fueled and funded for your own political motivations. The coup against the Orange Menace. Now it's destroying us all. And it's shooting 1-year-olds and 3-year-olds in the legs. Psychologically, they can do anything they want. Psychologically, we're in a civil war. It's what you've programmed. You've said it's okay. Yes, this is a coup. Yes, it's a hot war. You're acting violent, but it's okay because you have a right to do this. Let's just keep doing it. You're never going to stop. Kamala, Vice President Kamala says, we're never going to stop. They're never going to stop, and they shouldn't stop. Go, go, go. Go destroy America. Go destroy America. What do you think's going to happen when the community that's in America that loves America? You think they may want to self-defend themselves. You think they may want to defend their country. You think they may want to defend their land, their county, their city.